In this week's episode, I try wire sculpting for the first time, here on Kapow-der. Welcome to Kapowder-keg. My name is Elijah, and today I show you my first attempt at 2D wire sculpture. If you're new to the channel, I want to be a toy designer. I also do a lot of really oddball projects, and so this channel is going to be a lot of that. A few weeks back, I was actually at my little brother's wedding talking to an old friend I haven't seen in forever. And I got talking about this channel, what I was hoping to do with it, and just kind of general life goals. Of course, mentioned sculpting, as that's a big part of what I'm going to attempt to be doing. A few weeks later, I get a message from my friend Tim saying he's doing a music video for the artist Marc with a C. And he's actually in need of a couple of sculptures for this music video. Of course, I was interested, but I've never done wire sculptures before. Not really. I've played with wire. So I try not to sound too eager and then ask him what he's really expecting out of me and out of this project. So if he's looking for something super elaborate, I was going to be pretty screwed and definitely not up to the task as much as I'd love to be. So in our particular case, he was actually looking for something fairly simple, a bunch of abstract sculptures, and then two sculptures that were specifically supposed to be representing the artwork from Marc with a C's album Losing Salt, as well as an illustration of Marc with a C on his Best Of album. All the links to everything will definitely be in the description. So initially, when trying to connect the wire to one another, I wanted to do some sort of wrapping, twisting the wire around and bending it to one another, but really wasn't liking how it was turning out. So instead, what I ended up using was super glue and an accelerator. If you've ever worked with super glue, and most people who've done any crafting have at some point or another, you know that it gets all over the place, and while it does cure pretty fast, it doesn't cure right away, and I've messed up many projects by not clamping something down for long enough. So, using an accelerator welds it instantly, and it made a huge difference when trying to create these sculptures. So as the story goes, Tim was playing around with a paperclip and noticed that when you bent it and shaped it, you would have this 2D organic form. When you spun that, it also created this new shape from this initial 2D design. And he was really intrigued and really inspired and wanted to represent that as part of this music video. When creating abstract forms in any medium, there's no right way to go about it. There are, however, ways that can help enhance your work, and the two things I really like to rely on are, what does the medium tell me it wants? And I know that sounds wishy-washy, but really, instead of trying to force it to become something, you kind of see where it wants to bend and where it wants to shape and listen to it. It still sounds really wishy-washy, but you get the point. And then the other thing is I like to have music inspire everything I do. And in this case, since it's for a music video, I just listen to the song on repeat over and over and over again. And honestly, I think it made all the difference. Something to keep in mind is it doesn't have to be perfect. As someone who likes to make things perfect, I could have spent so much more time on this project just achieving a level of perfection that is so unnecessary. And that's not to say that to do a bad job. That's just saying do a level of work that is equal to the job. At the end of the day, you only have so many hours. And while I'd never suggest doing subpar work, it's often that you'll find your customer would have been happy long before the point that you are. And on that note, always check in with your client. Throughout this entire project, I was constantly sending Tim updates. And it's a good thing I did. There were many times where I would have continued trying to make things more elaborate and more involved than he was ever imagining. It's a very hard truth to learn, but time spent on a project does not equal a better result. Sometimes it does. Sometimes the more time you spend on something, the better the result can be. But you're often going to find that the two are not equal. And the result you're looking for is really within the first couple hours of whatever you're creating. And in the case of this project, Tim was very, very happy with what I had created. And while I even now would love to go back and improve things, touch up a couple of spots with some paint, it's not necessary. It wasn't necessary then, and it isn't necessary now. But it's how it goes. It's what we all want. We all want to create something that we're proud of. What I want you to take away from this is keep in touch with your client. Whenever doing client work, always give them updates, show them your work as you're making progress to make sure that you're on the right path and that you are not spending more time than you need to. Also, try something. Just go out and give something a shot and be okay with failing. Trust me, you will see me fail a bunch on this channel, I can pretty much assure you. But we all have to worry a little bit less about failing and worry a little bit more about never actually trying something in the first place. So hey, thanks for watching. If you have any other questions or things you'd like to see me try or projects you'd like to see me do in the future, definitely comment below. Feel free to check out my Instagram where I am kapowder-keg, as well as Twitter where I am kapowder-k. Let's see, where else am I? If you like what I'm doing here, definitely hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. I'm probably not going to be creating things weekly anytime soon. If you like what I'm doing on this channel, any of you have any suggestions, feel free to comment below. If you want to help support this channel and any of the other projects I try out, definitely check out my Patreon. The link will be below as well. I greatly appreciate any support. If you can't afford to, don't worry about it. But every little bit helps. It's always great to be able to have some way of being able to afford supplies to do the various things I do. So it's definitely appreciated. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and until next time, go out and try something new.